Hello everyone, it's Dylan from Yu-Gi-Oh! Everything, and welcome back to another Yu-Gi-Oh! Top 10 list. In today's video, we are going to be completing our top 10 strongest duelists for every show by tackling Yu-Gi-Oh! Go Rush. If you're unfamiliar with this series, I am trying to look at the characters at their strongest point. These are not based on how good the characters are, it's simply based on how strong of a duelist I believe that they are. And without further ado, let's begin. I hope you all enjoy. Number 10, Otis. And I already know 90 seconds into the video, some people are going to be like, oh, come on, man. When I ended up putting him at number 10, I actually kind of laughed out loud knowing that that was going to happen, that I would have to lead this video by defending Otis being in the top 10, a character that was an absolute joke in Yu-Gi-Oh! 7s. But if we're only looking at his Yu-Gi-Oh! Go Rush resume, I think he deserves to be here. He gave Udius two really good fights, and you could argue in that second duel, he actually defeated Udius, if not for the space-time glitching out to give Udius one final turn in order to defeat him. Now, it is a Udius win, but I still think that's impressive. And he defeated Manibu and Zujo, two characters that will be on this list, at the same time. Now, granted, the doll certainly helped him. It wasn't like a 2-on-1 showing, which is why I don't have him much higher than this, but I definitely think Otis deserves to be in the top 10 given his Go Rush performances, and he certainly wins Comeback Player of the Year after going 0-9 in Yu-Gi-Oh! 7s. Number 9, Duty Nishaw. Well, this list is really starting off well. Now I'm picking a character who only dueled once in the entire show. And I'm sure people will say, how can you put Duty Nishaw in the top 10? The guy dueled once. And it's true, he only dueled once, but it was a really impressive duel. He dueled Udius, our main protagonist, and he defeated Udius, and he was also in canon recognized to be at the same power level of a Zujo and of a Udius, being a commander of a fleet in his own right. The only duel we saw of him, he did really well in. I wish we got to see him more, but based on that one duel, I think it's genuinely enough to get him here at the number 9 spot. I can't put him much higher because there's just not enough to boost him much higher on this list in my opinion, but I feel comfortable with him being at number 9. Number 8, Manibu. I will say this, there are a lot of duelists in Go Rush that are very, similar in terms of power scaling. I feel like this is one of the most balanced shows for this category that we've maybe ever had. Like, I could certainly see people putting Manibu maybe in their top 5, but for me, I have him at number 8. It's respectable. Manibu is so tricky for me because in the second half of the show, I don't feel like his wins are really all that impressive. He beat Maguto the Fish, he beat Epoch, he beat Fukamura and Gakugen, but he also beat Zujo, and that's what makes ranking him kind of tough. But if I look at his losses in the second half, he lost to Gohan Yuna, he lost to Yuimu, he lost to Faser. I just feel like with Manibu, there's not enough consistency when it comes to the big wins in order for me to justify having him higher. Now, yes, that win against Zujo in 131 is super impressive, and I certainly think that gives credence to maybe arguing Manibu being a little higher than number 8, but I genuinely feel like the 7 duelists in front of him were just more consistently impressive throughout the show, and at their strongest points were more impressive than Manibu was. Number 7, Faser. So Faser actually had a chance to be even higher in this ranking for me. It's just we really didn't see enough of him, but when he dueled, he really shined. He beat Yuimu. Now, yes, he did lose to Udius, but that's an understandable loss. And then he was imperative in beating Udius and Quaid duel when him, Zujo, and Yuimu all basically worked together in order to get that win at the end of arc number 6. He didn't really duel much more than that. He did go on to beat his brother and Manibu, and I feel like this is a case where if he got more duels, he'd probably be higher for me, but because the pedigree is a little short, I think having Faser here at the number 7 spot is fair, and that's where I have him ranked. Number 6, Gohan Yuna. So Gohan Yuna really gets benefited from being the first character to defeat our main protagonist, Udius. I always felt like these two were going to have a rematch. Sadly, it never happened. And when you look at the rest of her wins, she beat Rovian, she beat Manibu, she beat Asaka. She did lose to the Odo twins, so like I don't have her in that upper echelon top 5 tier, but I think the win against Udius as well as the late win against Manibu certainly shows that she is no dueling slouch, and I genuinely feel that she deserves to be here at the number 6 spot. Number 5, Yuimu. So I have Yuimu just cracking the top 5. I had her ahead of Gohan Yuna because she defeated Gohan Yuna at the end of the show, and she had a lot of really impressive wins as well. When she was the Dark Meister, she took down Zujo and Yuhi, and you could argue that that's probably when she was at her strongest, but she was unable to defeat Udius and Quaid, which is a very respectable and understandable loss. I have her ranked below her brother and below Zujo because I just felt like the two of them were more consistently stronger than her as the show went on. I know in canon, Yuimu at the start of the series was a better duelist than her brother, but I do feel like her brother surpassed her from a dueling standpoint as the show went on. Yuimu is no slouch, however, and to make the top 5 is certainly impressive, and I have her coming in at number 5. Number 4, Yuhi. Yuhi, I do believe, surpassed Yuimu from a dueling standpoint, even though I do believe Yuimu is the better character overall. Yuhi, I think, just got better wins as the show went on and was shown to be a bit stronger than his sister. That being said, he just fails to crack the top 3 for me personally because he seemed to have one kryptonite, and that was Zujo. He was never able to beat Zujo. He dueled Zujo 2 different times, including one towards the end of the show, and so it was really hard for me to put Yuhi in the top 3, kind of spoiling who my number 3 pick is here, because Yuhi on multiple occasions was not able to ever beat anyone in the top 3. He also had a chance to defeat Udius and Zujo tag teaming with Epoch in the final arc, and he wasn't able to do it. Overall, I think when Yuhi was Yuhi Otis, he was stronger than Yuimu was as the Dark Meister. It's certainly debatable, but I have Yuhi at number 4. Number 3, Zujo. So our main rival is going to get the bronze medal here, just how we got the bronze medal in my top 10 characters video as well. Funny enough, Zujo coming in 3rd in both of those top 10 lists. I think overall, Zujo just showed up when it mattered. He got big wins against Yuimu, Yuhi. He got 2 wins against Udius. And yes, he did lose his final duel alongside Manibu against Otis. But even despite that, I think Zujo was shown to be an extremely competent duelist. The reason I don't have Zujo ahead of the top 2 for me is I think the top 2 just had more consistently impressive wins. But Zujo was no slouch, and even when he had a weird character arc in the 3rd season, he was an absolute force when it came to dueling, which is what this list is trying to encapsulate. Zujo comes in at number 3. Number 2, Quaid Velgear. And I gotta tell you, man, this was tough. I was very close to having the same top 3 for my strongest duelists as I was for my best characters, but I will explain why I have Quaid at number 2, and I obviously have Udius at number 1. Quaid deserves to be up this high. Now, I know I am a massive Quaid fan, and maybe I'm a little biased, but Quaid dueled Udius 3 times and won 2 of those 3 times, giving him the best record any character has against Udius for characters that dueled him multiple times, as Zujo went 2-2 against Udius. Also, when Quaid took over the duel for Udius when they were taking on the fearsome Dark Meister, Quaid was able to solidify the win and defeat Yuimu. I wish we saw Quaid duel some more characters. It stinks that he only dueled the Odos and Udius, his only other duel being against Fukamura, of all people, a duel in which he obviously won. But I do believe that Quaid, had he dueled Zujo, would have defeated Zujo. I think Quaid is an absolutely insanely powerful character and duelist as well, and I feel very comfortable putting him at number 2, and I'll explain why he's not number 1 for me. Number 1, Udius Velgear. And the main reason why I have Udius ahead of Quaid is we are analyzing these characters from a strength perspective at their strongest. And I believe that Udius was at his strongest after Quaid forced him to undergo the ritual at the end of episode 135. And when Udius was able to use the power of ritual summoning, I believe he would have defeated Zujo. I believe he would have defeated Quaid in a rematch. In fact, I think it's almost symbolic that Udius, surpassed Quaid from a strength perspective, which is the whole point of why Quaid forced him to undergo the ritual and achieve ritual summoning. And so I just view Udius by the end of the show as this ultimate really strong force. And by the way, he was a really good duelist up until that point. Maybe not the strongest in the show. You could make an argument for Quaid or even Zujo, who beat him in their last 2 matchups. But I think after Udius undergoes that ritual, he certainly is the strongest duelist in Go Rush, and I feel comfortable putting him in my top spot. And that wraps it up. Ladies and gentlemen, there are a lot of debates that can be had here. I mean, even Udius lost a good amount of times. So there is no Luke, there is no Kite, there is no Yusaku or Yusei. There is no invincible dueling character in Yu-Gi-Oh! Go Rush. And I think that makes this list so tough to make. And I think you're going to have a lot of variety picks in the comments for when people rank their strongest duelists in the show. And please, feel free to do that. Go ahead in the comments. Let me know your top 5. Let me know your top 10. Let me know the points of mine you agree with, disagree with. I'm excited to hear from you down below. As always, thank you all so much for watching, and I hope you have an amazing day. Take care, guys.